Well, how are you doing, Dan? Welcome back to Valorant Game Changers. Or Challengers. We just
Challenges,
did Game
game
Changers.
changes.
Yeah, it's all a blur. You're everywhere in the world. It's midnight for you. Where are you at right now?
Right now, I'm back in Madrid, and I'm excited about this cast. It's
Yeah.
I probably won't be able to sleep for hours after this because I always get so excited casting some Valorant. I know for you and I,
Yeah,
it's been
yeah.
a while since we did stuff together. It was Game Changers, and then it was like months since we worked
Yeah.
together. So it's I'm excited for that too.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm stoked. And today we have a treat, dude. We have a treat. We have Luminosity and FaZe Clan. I mean, these are teams that we've seen throughout many iterations of the game. So it's shocking to see FaZe Clan with such minimal roster changes be here. LG a little bit more shifty when it comes to their roster. I'll say that. I honestly don't know who to favor in this matchup. Do you have any ideas on who we should favor?
Ooh, it's Valorant, Sean. It's very it's hard at the best of times to make accurate predictions, but I'm definitely feeling like Luminosity right now. That's my gut, but I mean, for me, what's really interesting is I haven't had my eyes on FaZe as much over the last couple months, and I think it was Masters 1 when they first really shocked and surprised people. But as we got the player cards coming up here for Luminosity, what do you know about this lineup, Sean?
Sure. So the Luminosity lineup has changed a lot. Like I said, so your boy Dre is their star player by far. He puts up the biggest numbers for this team. They brought in Ban to be like a jet main. He also plays a little bit of Sage. Underperforming in that role, but it doesn't matter because these pieces of Luminosity as a team are looking a lot better than previous iterations. Tig on the controller, he's a stand-in actually. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but I think Moose has an injury. They recently got rid of, let me call the names, Thief and Stellar. There we go. Okay, so Thief and Stellar recently got benched from the team, and they brought in Dazzle and Ban into these new roles. Tig standing in, so this whole team is like kind of moving around right now. A Proto, your boy Dre, they're like the solid pieces that have remained, and everyone knows a Proto as like the star sentinel player. Nothing's changing there. But their look is totally different. They used to be so much more scrappy than what they are now. And I can say the same thing about FaZe Clan. Like, it's just how these teams have evolved is insane in this amount of time.
Yeah, it's really interesting too because I feel like the way the meta is probably leading after Sentinel's win and just kind of that display that style of play, that loose style of play works so well. It definitely favors a team like FaZe Clan to try to plug and play a lot of the things that they were doing. And as you were mentioning, we've got so many just amazing players on this lineup. They stay together for a long time. I think people are very familiar with Baby Bay as a personality in the scene and a very iconic jet player at this point. And some of the Overwatch players like Corey, like superstar aimers. This is a team that's just such a fun team to watch when they really get that momentum aggressively. So I'm looking forward to seeing something like that. And also, I think for me, what's really interesting too with FaZe is they're on top of the world in Masters 1, a few months ago, and they were really confident. And I definitely felt a little bit worried for them that that confidence could be their downfall to a certain extent. But I feel like they've carried that through pretty well, that experience, of having that downfall kind of being blown out in Masters 2. So I'm just really impressed by the fact that this lineup has such a strong belief in itself and such a strong identity. And I'm really looking forward to seeing them continue to build here. This is going to be a really key matchup for them moving forwards here as well.
No, I couldn't agree more. And when those confidence-based teams, we've seen it a lot in CS, when they take a hit and they get punched in the face and they get beaten down in a tournament, it's hard for them to bounce back and come back in the next tournament with that confidence. But it looks like, the removal of Marv, the addition of Baby J on the Sentinel role, sometimes we see him playing Breach like we just saw, it's revitalized the team. It looks like, Baby Bay is back comfy. Baby J is really aggressive on that Sentinel role. I love what I see out of FaZe. It's night and day, their play style, compared to what I used to watch, but you still see flashes of that aggression. And that's what makes it really cool to watch.
Yeah, I am really looking forward to this one. And also maybe we'll get some KO. That would be fun to cast some KO as well. Obviously, the freshest agent on the block. And here we have a comparison of Zachary and Tig. And how does this look for you, Sean?
Yeah, so before the match, they actually asked me who I wanted to compare in this head-to-head, and I went with the controllers for both teams, right? Tig, the stand-in right now for LG, and FaZe Clan Zachary. Zachary doesn't really need an introduction, but Tig, he really has impressed me stepping into this role. I mean, that's a lot to ask for a stand-in to come into this team play Viper as controller. I've seen him play Astra in a couple of games. I am super impressed by Tig. Zachary has always been known as like the glue to FaZe Clan, the one that doesn't play like an absolute maniac, right? The one you can rely on to hold his site and not push through places. So I think that the difference between these two players is pivotal in this matchup. And I think the success either one has could determine which way this goes.
Yeah, and there's so many interesting players here that, again, Valorant has this like really weird element to it where there's sometimes like these quick turnarounds in teams. You'll see a team be really hot for a couple months, and you really get to know some of the players. And let's say for Luminosity, they burst onto the scene as one of the teams that were up and coming, and then they really made a name for themselves and proved that they could hang. And Proto was one of those names as well on the Cypher, and he just really was so impressive from a mechanics standpoint. And it's hard to stand out in this game in that respect. So looking to see what he's going to bring to the table in that Cypher as well. Cypher's not normally known exactly for fragging out, but that's something that a Proto can absolutely do. And I think we're ready to jump into the game, if I'm not mistaken. So we can let the action... Oh, the map picks.
Yeah, we get some,
it's
some
close.
map bands in. Yeah.
It's close.
We got to figure out where we're going first, So, got the split pick coming in from LG. And that's pretty interesting because I don't think this new iteration of FaZe has played it that much. In this run, they played it 3 times. They're 2-1 on the map. Clearly not super comfy. And then we have Breeze coming up as the second map. And Dan, I told you before this series started how excited I am about the potential of seeing Breeze because I know Corey has picked Yoru on Breeze before. Please, please, Corey, let me have this. Let me have this moment of casting Yoru in a match. And then we have Ascent as the third map. Let's just say if it goes there, it's going to be absolutely insane. Both these teams are undefeated on their runs in this tournament. 4-0 for LG, 8-0 for FaZe. I mean, it's clearly both these teams' best maps, but you don't want to pick it against either opponent, right? So they float it to the third, and that'll be a banger if we get there.
Yeah, and it's so funny that you bring up Yoru on Breeze because I think Buck asked earlier on in the broadcast, like, to Van Silly, like, what's like Yoru is getting left out in the cold, and he's just talking about that. So I mean, Yoru is not going to get left out in the cold if we see him on Breeze, obviously.
Look, Dan, I'm gonna stop you there. I'm gonna interrupt you. We don't say BOQ's name on this stream anymore. He has tweeted some hateful stuff about boba beverages, and I'm not standing for it. No, I'm not okay with this. Like boba's just too good to be slandered like this. So
that is top tier gamer food. So I'm
yes,
kind of I did not know about this.
It's not okay. He's in the Discord. He's egging me on here. I don't like it. I don't like what I'm seeing out of Bach lately.
All right, we'll have to put that one aside for the moment, Sean, because I do want to get your take here. In this best of 3, that second map, Breeze. Is Breeze kind of volatile right now? Like, where do you see that? In terms of what the pro teams are doing, is it still too fresh to kind of feel like it's favorable for any one of these two teams? Like you were saying that we might see that Yoru pick. Is that just a gimmick pick, or is it something that works like very solidly within the strategy that you've seen from them?
Yeah. I think Yoru is a great pick on Breeze. It's such a big map. His TP, he can go from site to site very quickly, as well as the more important thing is it can't be heard by the attackers if you do it on defense to reposition and, stack sites with your mates. I have to be honest here, though. I haven't seen one team play Breeze enough to give you an idea of how volatile the map is and if any team has solved it. What I do know is that Viper seems like a necessity on the map. KO doesn't really seem like a good pick on the map. There's certain things like that I've gathered from watching all these matches, but it's still so up in the air as to how to play the map. And I've seen so many different looks and entries into the sites, particularly in the EU matches I've seen. I haven't seen much in NA, so this is kind of cool. And
I mean, I said I put it to one side, but you're mentioning Bok with the boba hate, and now that we're talking about Yoru, I just realized that the teleport orb actually kind of looks like a tasty little tapioca all rolling around. So now I'm going to just associate Yoru with boba tea as just an advert. That might be a problem. I actually found a good boba place here in Madrid. So
very good.
Right. When it's
very
open.
good. Intermelon, Pharaoh, can't go wrong. Either flavor, Dan. Go with either one.
Yep. I don't know. I just have like a little randomizer that picks what flavors. But regardless of that, I feel like one of the things I've got to mention here, Sean, as well, is that, you know, for you and I casting like new maps and stuff, I always get really excited because it's like, coming from the background that we have in CS. I feel like you're probably like me, and we kind of look at the map like from all of the fundamentals, and it's all just comes down to rotations and, you know, the positioning and so on. It's like you can tweak some of the variables, but it kind of plays the same. So sometimes I like see stuff and I'm like, I've seen this before in like Counter-Strike, and I feel like Breeze is such a cool map in that sense because it's got this huge open mid, and when I've watched a lot of teams that don't necessarily know what to do with it, because as you say, it's quite a big distance that you have to cover. It kind of reminds me of some of the CS maps. So I'm wondering if we're going to see some strategies that are familiar to me. Do you get that same like feeling sometimes when we get these new maps?
Yeah, I think the initial maps that came into the game were very close quartered and allowed for super quick rotations, right? You can make these crazy plays on your defensive side, and you can almost like get away with it because you can rotate to the other side. You can't do that on Breeze. And to an extent, it's more difficult on Ascent as well. Like you said, I mean, the map's so big, it almost requires a mid control coming out of the attack side. I've seen so many slow hits, just bleeding the clock, bleeding the utility out of the defense when I watch the map. And the reason being is because you think about how defense has to spread out. There's the A entrance, there's the halls entrance, there's the A connector entrance, there's mid to B, there's nest, and then there's B. I mean, you only have 5 players, Dan. Like, I mean, that's why it's so difficult to play Breeze in ranked. Is it requires a lot of communication, a lot of movement around the map to make sure everything is plugged and safe. Probably a sentinel, and it's really exciting to see how these teams are dealing with that. Right? There's all these holes. It's like a sinking ship, and you're just plugging random ones, and then a new hole will spout. That's how these pro teams are dealing with Breeze, and they're doing a really good job when I watch them.
Well, looks like we're about to go into the first map here between FaZe and Luminosity, and I'm already wondering if we're going to see any KO in this in these agent selects here today. We'll have to wait and see, but so far looks pretty much like what you would expect, Sean.
Yeah, nothing too crazy going on here. I mean, Raucus obviously playing a Viper. He normally plays Sova, but there's a split. So Zach has played tons of Astra lately. So we're definitely going to see him lock that in. Tig on the Viper. I think Ban I don't think he's going to lock in that Astra. Yeah, there he goes. Going over to Sage. That's his secondary pick when he's not Jet. Baby Bay always on the Jet. Nothing too crazy going on here, right? I think Baby J could have maybe picked Cypher if he was playing against a team with a dominant Jet, right? That was one of the big changes to Cypher on patch 3.0. Those trips, you can no longer dash through them again. We're going back to the old days where Cypher is just that hard counter, annoying agent, even when Jets are their opponents. So I like the difference in the comps. I think we're in for a treat here. I want to see 2 controllers though versus 1, but I don't think we're even going to get it. I think Zach's going to lock in this Astra. Oh, it's glitched. We got word that it's glitched. He actually did lock it in. Okay. So he's not going to actually visibly lock it in. He's stuck there in this weird limbo. Purgatory of a non-locked in Astra. We do get to see 2 different controllers. One Omen, obviously one Astra. Personally think Astra is the stronger agent on split when run properly, especially with those Killjoy setups, the Viper setups, the raised nades. You know, it reminds me a lot of the V1 comp that we saw in Iceland, and they had so much success on split. It's very, very difficult to enter sites against that comp.
Yeah, I'm super curious how this is going to turn out. Like who's going to do a better job on the attack with their setups? Because with the double controller, I feel like you can do a lot more. But you know what? We're straight into this one, Sean, and we already see that we're getting a bias here from the FaZe players more towards B and mid.
Yeah, and this is the setup at B we've seen from Vipers all event long. The wall going in B, the smoke to block vision, puts a lot of pressure on Baby J, but the action is in mid, Dan, and early frags go FaZe's way. This is going to be a hard one to bounce back from.
Yeah, down into a 3 versus 5. You can see Zachary is blocked by that trip. It doesn't matter too much. Again, the numbers game is really in favor here for FaZe. On that defense, see Baby Bay knows that. It doesn't have to take too aggressive of a duel here. Can fall back, just preserve his life, allow his teammates to coordinate around and make these fights really impossible. And that's a great find there from Baby. Just trying to look for some information, able to catch another frag out of it, really putting a Proto and Ban in a terrifyingly bad position. Raucus getting that info on the shorty.
I was wondering what was going on. I thought he was trolling us then. He had the shorty in the back pocket. Nothing he can do from that distance, so he has to wait. But he gets the info, and the info is almost as good as the frag, I guess. Knowing that the spike is heading towards B, allows the stack to remain there. And I think LG is waiting for this heal to come in. So in about 3 seconds, they'll probably start making a move.
30 seconds left.
Oh,
Absolutely, and Raucus will be spotted. Running away. I mean, there's not too much here to be done. Corey will hear they're running through ropes, so all the information in the world here. Raucus might actually get some close range engagements, possibly, but they should have an idea that they did see Viper coming from that Suez position into the poison orb, getting close here. Brilliant stuff from Raucus, able to convert against a Proto. One more to go. Can that spike get planted? Absolutely not. It's looking quite difficult here, and indeed it gets finished off. Good control there from FaZe, only losing one player. I really respect the discipline from them.
I would love to see the amount of people that could have predicted that Raucus would see those players down there in sewers and end the round getting both frags in the A side. How on earth did that shorty just do that? Great maneuvering there by Raucus to cut the distance and honestly wait for his teammates for the last frag. Like, that is just such a heads up play by him. Good Viper setup here on the A site. You can see the smoke allows vision from heaven, actually. So that's why they throw it to the side like that. FaZe is just dominating mid this game, Dan. I'm already scared for LG.
Oh, Corey is going to kill himself with the paint shells. Well, FaZe at least have all these forward positions. They'll be finishing off the remainder, and just like that, very quick anti-eco. That's what we like to see. Quick 2-0 here for FaZe, but we'll be now into the bite round. So Luminosity will have the benefit of having better guns, as FaZe presumably will carry forward some of these Spectres in this bonus round for them.
Jesus, look at the ACS early for the duelists on FaZe. That is the nightmare scenario if you're playing against FaZe, is when those two guys go off to a good start. It's going to be a long game, and Baby has already busted out the op. He's going to control mid, but this looks like some kind of early A setup, Dan. Maybe they're trying to get control of ropes here.
And we'll have to see how this one pans out. That mid control is really aggressive once again. Lots of information in mid there. FaZe. See Luminosity here pressuring the A ramp position, trying to gain some early control. The paint shells will kind of slow things down a little bit here. So it's not that easy for Luminosity to get across, and we'll be able to, due to that Viper utility. Behind the plant pots there, and that's a very good find by Corey. The trade is also quite nice here, 4 versus 4. But how do you convert this into site control if you're Luminosity right now? We can hear the running coming through from Dazzle, making his way across to try to reinforce this attack onto the A site. It's very late, but they don't know about Zachary.
Yeah.
And the plant pots.
Zach is here. He has a star on the ground. They might have to walk through the smoke, but they're hitting very good timing right now, Dan.
Oh, Ban checks for it too. There's no distraction to allow Zachary to play off of that position effectively. And now suddenly, this is looking very bad for FaZe here. They're going to have to try to make a very difficult retake work. And Luminosity, they have been very methodical so far.
Excellent job of finding the windows of when the toxins are available for Raucus on that defensive side. They hit the timing perfectly by walking into the A site. You can see now Proto, this is where he shines on this lurk. You won't find him opening rounds very often, but these scenarios, he feasts on these mid-game rounds.
Yeah, this is a really, I mean, it's a really interesting round in the sense that we didn't see anything special from Luminosity, really. We saw them try to just pressure that A main. The A ramp control and into A heaven, and they get that initial trade. And they just work off of that slowly. And FaZe didn't really get value from the mid control. And that's kind of the point, I think, for Luminosity to have so many players weighted towards the A side of the map at the beginning. Because they know that the defense will be a little bit weaker there, given how aggressive FaZe have been in middle.
Exactly. And I think a key thing to look at between these teams is the lack of Sage on FaZe Clan, right? They're going for the early mid fights, but when they don't happen, like that round, when LG works the A site, they have to shift off of mid And normally the Sage wall would be there, and you can see it on your mini map when it breaks. They don't have that for them, so they had a 2-2 split in the sites, and LG just had such a good read. Oh my god!
Oh, that's pretty disgusting. Baby Bay unable to even dash away. Luminosity with a huge win right at the start of the round. 1 minute 30 seconds to play with this 5 versus 4 advantage. And you can see it's just a reset here. They know that this early kill is highly alarming if you're FaZe. And FaZe are going to rotate all the way off, and now they've got no information on the map at all.
Yeah, that's a huge find. You can see LG is aware of FaZe's quick rotations. They back off this A site. And if you look at the minimap, they are dead correct. FaZe has 3 people now in the A site, as opposed to 1 maybe 30 seconds ago. And LG is now planning this mid-B split.
So the reset into this B split. We'll have to see if it works out here. There is a defense in male. There's Zachary gets the first on the transfer coming through, but it's actually Baby Bay with the support from up high to get the hold going here for FaZe, and it's going to be a difficult situation to actually convert off of this spike plant. There's a 4v3 in favor of the retaking players, but that said, Dazzle with this flank finds great timing coming in, and that's going to cause havoc here for FaZe. Unable to cobble anything together. That coordination they were looking for completely split up and broken by that initial flank of Dazzle, and the flanker is to be flanked, but doesn't matter. Corey with the whiff.
That is a phantom frag, Dan. And for anyone that's even daring to make fun of Corey's aim, I highly encourage you to go look at his aim lab clips. That is not an aim thing by him right there. Oh my goodness. I've never seen Corey miss like that in my life. Ever.
Does not happen.
That is a rare sighting.
Oof. Yeah, that was perfect timing from Dazzle. That setup looked really nice for FaZe, but Dazzle ruined it all.
Indeed. Oh, here we have that same double A setup, Dan, but the Astra's gonna play aggressive on the ramp. That's a big find. That's a really big find, because now they don't have to worry about the gravity well when entering this A site. So you can see they're trying to just speed it up.
Nice headshot coming through from Raucus. That might make things a little bit difficult here now from Luminosity, who had so many advantages coming into this one at the start. But now it's a man advantage playing in favor of FaZe. And you can see things slow down a little bit here. Raucus has all the time in the world to work his way around screens, finds the back of Tig. And now Dazzle and a Proto for Luminosity are in a very dangerous and desperate position. Baby Bay now picking off a Proto, leaving just Dazzle. And Dazzle, his position's now known, and Baby Bay's going to have the position himself to take and win that fight. And that was not supposed to go like that, Sean. That opening, I mean, we're seeing Luminosity reliably get the opening pick.
Yes. At this A site in particular, they are dominating the opening frags of this A site. But unlike last round, they decided to speed up. And I think that's in large part due to the agent that gets fragged, right? One round you have Jet, who has no stall utility, right? So when you frag a Jet, it's not like you're really doing anything to like ease your way into the site after that. But when you take out the Astra and you no longer have to deal with the Nova Pulse or the Gravity Well, you're going to speed up right there. But the lack of a Heaven Smoke will definitely cost you on an A hit, which is what we saw.
Now it's the case of just pistols here. Just Sheriff's trying to find the frags early on. We get the Viper's Pit in mid to really secure things. Raucus just with that Judge sitting in this Viper's Pit. And, I mean, this is just totally locked down. I don't know how you'll deal with this. Never mind. Dazzle, just I say that, is going to shoot Raucus in the face with the Sheriff. So there's the answer, apparently. And Corey's going to be just out there in the open. Have to be careful, confident in his aim. But, Sean, I am worried here. Both teams are giving up a lot of these individual fights against Sheriffs.
Yeah, and more importantly, your boy Dre getting his opening into the game. He was so quiet, and normally he is an absolute stud when you watch this team play.
And here we are. We've got the attack coming through onto the sites. Doesn't feel like there's a lot that can be done here due to the numbers disadvantage, but we'll see. Baby Bay is going to take down Tig. A very aggressive position, and that does make life a lot easier here for FaZe. 2 versus 3 coming in, both from male.
Ooh.
And there goes the lockdown up the rope, though, for the trade. Zachary now on this 1v2, looking for the clutch. Has information on one player at backside. Doesn't know where Ban is, though. How should? But there's the paranoia. That's going to, of course, kill the sound here for Zachary, making life quite annoying. But just running and spraying is going to do the damage. Zachary pulls out the classic, has to tap the spike, has to create the presence. Oh, suggests that he's defusing, and that's going to be good for the classic frag. And is there enough time here? It's going to be extremely close. Zachary, oh my god. The Red Bull clutch from Zachary. I don't know how, why, when, where. I don't know what happened there, Sean, but it worked.
Zach
can't argue with results.
Yeah, he's playing a different game than all of us, man. His Phantom can just be accurate while just full running. He's just running around with this classic. No one can touch him. Oh my god. I'm disgusted.
I don't know how to explain what just happened there. Just like the way the round opened as well with all of these like sheriff frags. Everyone's just like, it's like everyone has 100% confidence. Like, and they're just giving up a lot of these frags in mid. Was definitely problematic here for the defenders for FaZe. We'll see what they're gonna do here. There comes the rocket straight away in mid. They just love taking these fights, and it's gonna work out this time. Actually converting a 4 versus, or converting into a 4 versus 3 off of that mid aggression. I mean, finally we're seeing it pay off a little bit more here for FaZe. Doesn't look like they're done here because Baby J looks aggressive here as well with the support of Baby Bay. Oh my. Well, whoa. There's your 4v2.
Okay, Baby J. Taking out a Proto with a few extra bullets at the end. Goodness, that was a really cool bait setup though by Baby J. Turret first contact, and you can see he just swings. The second that turret shoots, he knows exactly where the Cypher is around the corner.
One enemy remaining.
The push coming through to the A site now. It's so difficult. There's so much information. Good positions coming through as well from FaZe to just, again, show that discipline. Really just make it as impossible as they can for their opposition. And there we go, locking it in. Great conversion off of that mid aggression, and that's FaZe just like forcing their style on the game, and Luminosity not really having much to deal with that with. And I'm really struggling, Sean, just like working out a tempo for this game. Just, I don't know what these players are going to do most of the time.
It's actually wild. It's wild to see how FaZe approaches split relative to the other top teams in the region. I think their method is get as many frags as possible early in the round, so that way things feel impossible for the other team, right? Like the other team is just starting the round without a controller randomly, without a sentinel randomly, without one of their duelists. So everything they practice, like that, everything they practice just goes out the window. The way of entering the site, no longer possible.
Oh yeah, that's so tough. It's gonna take down Raucus at the very least, but you know, losing your boy Dre, losing the Raze, losing that, you know, what could be a double satchel, and just a way to create some space forward. Like that's the only duelist. And your boy Dre also had the showstopper available. So, you know, you're talking about FaZe finding those early picks and how impactful that can be. And it just stops the round dead. If Luminosity, they're just holding position. They've got to push through to ropes right now. Tig defending the challenge, the info play from Corey, and that's going to create some space here. We'll have to see if this flank's going to be good for much, as we have Dazzle working his way again. Has been great on these timings. There's one. Baby Bay goes down with that Sheriff in hand. The second one for Dazzle. And now there's just Baby J left. And wow, Luminosity finding so much value here.
Ooh, these sheriffs are on one, Dan. They are on one. I swear, every time I see someone with a sheriff, they just get a frag. Are you aware, by the way, of what's going on in EU with these rounds? Called Shikos? How do you feel about it?
Tell me.
Sheriff
Explain what a
Eco?
Shiko is.
Sheriff Eco? You know how, like,
So
in
it's
CSGO,
the deco
we had
of...
Eco?
Yep.
Yeah. I kind of like it.
Yeah, definitely. I think it makes a lot of sense. It's you can just win around pretty easily with a couple of Sheriff headshots. And I mean, given the cost, I've always been a fan of it. You know, in CS as well.
Yeah, the juice coming out of the Sheriffs on this patch is pretty wild, because we no longer have the Stinger meta, we no longer have the Bucky meta. So now it seems like teams are falling more into the Sheriffs, and we're getting that patch 3.0 aim style where abilities are a little bit more expensive. That's probably part of the reason why we have both of these teams so deap in the event, as well as TSM. You know, these aim-heavy teams are shining on this new patch.
It also affects the info game a bit, but We're going to get that showstopper coming straight through from your boy Trey. We mentioned it previously. He dodges the boombot around the corner. And speaking of the dodge, we do get the dodge with the rocket from Baby Bay as well. So still holding on to this B Heaven position. FaZe are going to make it as tough as possible for Luminosity to gain ground, but they are gaining ground into the site. So many players committed to defending up high. There's nobody on the B side itself. And there's the Viper Pit coming out to make this even more difficult on the retake. But you know what? There's a numbers advantage coming in now for FaZe as they start to set up that retake. And it's going to be a backside B as well as possibly be main hit. Oh, Corey going in with the satchels though.
Oh dear, that's a trip on the ground right there. Oh, that's very smart. He breaks the trip with his satchel. Now he's just waiting.
Oh, it pays off as well. Fantastic find. The pressure comes through. It's just down to Tig now in the back of the site. Tig gets one. The second one coming through as well. Dodging back behind the Viper's Pit. Making it a guessing game here for Baby J. Oh, sprays randomly. Finds the headshot. Makes it look so easy. And there's even time to spare on the defuse.
What a round from Baby J. I was thinking about complimenting him before he ever did that. When they double push down male in the mid round, right? Him and Baby Bay. The babies. The baby squad. Going down male. I loved how Baby J just reactively went left to hold into mid. You can tell it's not something it's not like something they practice. They're just going on the fly, and he just knows the angles to guard Baby Bay from as he pushes and gets aggressive. And they both got frags. That was a key point in this round that turned it in FaZe's favor. And then Corey made a nuts play. And then again, we see Tig coming back into the round. That was such a cool round to watch.
Yeah, this is such a battle of styles right now, and I really get the sense that FaZe is so comfortable. And we have this mid push coming through from Luminosity. We haven't seen too much of this. FaZe will be so dominant, and the timing beautiful off the sound cue. Baby Bay's able to escape there with the updraft and the cloud burst. They're looking at Baby J, but it's Baby Bay that peaks from male. And you know what? Luminosity will actually convert some of these frags. Committing up to mid. I like this. Uh-oh. Raucus. Ready with the judge, though. Surely not. Thank you, Oppresso. Able to deal with the Raucus then. It's always pretty good, but Corey can definitely cause some problems. Can pick up anything he wants in middle. Grabs the Vandal.
Spike planted.
Boombot and the paint shells are available here.
Full
and the
kit.
double satchel, too.
Oh, this is so winnable for Corey.
Just as you say it, Sean.
What an angle.
The round is, yeah. It's so tough, isn't it, for Corey? That said, that was a 1v1, so you never know. That's what Corey is going to ultimately be looking for in that situation. But that's going to be 4-6. So Luminosity picking up another round, making this first half really competitive.
Yeah, I think the difference maker here has been your boy Dre entering this game. I don't think he was ready for the early fights in mid to kick off this game. And now he looks really on point. And he looks like he's ready to battle the duelists from FaZe. And again, both duelists from FaZe are in mid. They're ready to fight every single round so far. They're pushing. Oh my goodness.
Dangerous rounds. Vandal and Corey. Sheriffs. You got the Blaze Storm coming out as well from Baby Bay. This is a very scary round here. FaZe definitely want to prioritize getting onto a spike plant. They'll do that towards the A site here. They're not spreading out too much. They just have Dazzle, who is playing the lurking role over towards the B side of the map. And we get a methodical click. Great use of the boombot there. Oh, but here comes Baby Bay. The updraft able to pick off one. Cloudburst prevents any movement here for Luminosity up into that A heaven position. Rez comes through as well. What's Baby Bay going to do? He's still holding on to this upper position, but he has to take some peeks. He has to get some fights. There goes the drive-by with the Blaze. There goes Baby J as well with the Sheriff. The updraft comes through. It's up to the Classic. It's not going to do the damage, though. And it's looking like FaZe are running out of steam in this position. But oh, Corey turns up, gets a double, and they're straight back in this one. Now Raucus going forward with the Vandal collected one, but left in the... Oh. Up to Baby J, and it's Dazzle with the TP. Oh, it's a fake! Baby J's there!
No, not like this. The Omega Lolman play. No! Baby J is too smart to fall for that. Baby J is way too smart to fall for that. I thought he was such a good pickup by FaZe. Just someone that's a master Sentinel player. You can see they had an idea for what they wanted to bring into the team. And he has come up big for them time and time again. Not only this match, throughout the entire event. One of their top performers.
Crazy stuff. Like, it's just so difficult to... Like, these rounds are so crazy because there's so many gunfights coming out from both teams. We're going to get the mid-aggression again. We get play around A main, which Zachary is going to win that duel against Tig. And, I mean, are we going to see Luminosity slow things down? No, of course not. We get options here in mid because Baby Bay's still fighting. He'll get taken down. The rocket to slow things down. Corey, again, you talk about Corey's aim. The ADS comes through as well. You know that he's hungry for more here. He's got assistance. There's the transfer. Makes it look just so disgustingly good. 8-4 for FaZe at the end of the first half. Wow. Any final thoughts on this at the end of the first half, Sean, from what we just witnessed?
That was unreal. FaZe's aggression in mid would be like, I don't even know. It's like those cop scene where there's just like some lunatic running around like on like all kind of drugs, you know, just can't be stopped, has no pain, feels nothing. That's what FaZe is like in mid. They just keep pushing. They don't care how many fights they take. These guys are insane. And they win them all.
Yeah. They're making the defense look like the offense. They're about to switch onto the offense. We'll have to see if they can repeat this performance against Luminosity in the second half. We'll see you soon for that. Welcome back, everybody. It's Luminosity versus FaZe. Luminosity not off to the best start against FaZe, but you can barely blame them. FaZe making their extreme aggression basically everywhere on the map on the defense work really nicely. But now they're on the offense. We'll have to see if it works out just as well in this second half.
Ooh, this is quite an interesting setup from FaZe on this pistol. We have the support players in mid, the Killjoy and the Viper. And the Viper... Oh, I'm sorry. That's the Viper on the defense side has this shorty. So she's not going to play too aggressive over there by any means. And there's a Cypher too. So the B setup will be very passive. And I don't think FaZe is going to go to B. So these guys are going to have a slow rotate this round.
Yeah, there goes the boom bot. Nice shot from Corey again. We talk about that aim. Even though like the first thing we saw from Corey this game was a whiff, you can see that that's quickly, like normality is quickly restored there. Nice kill from Raucus as well, catching Tig going for an info play into mid. So grid spread of players, and they're challenging Zachary. That classic, that right click is on. And it's not too much left here for Luminosity, just a proto. It's a nice looking ghost though.
That whole skin set is actually quite nice.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't work for Proto this time. So... that's not what you wanted to see if you are a fan of Luminosity.
No, they almost needed that one, right? I mean, Split definitely isn't as defense-sided as it once was. That was a pretty dominant half right there from FaZe. The way they controlled mid was unreal. It's like they know they're the more skilled team. And I can tell by how they're taking these fights, they are not going to slow down this best of 3. But they're going into a stack right now, Dan. This is going to be wild.
Oh, this is quite scary. And it's going to get taken down by the nice dash-up drop play coming in from Baby Bay. Up on the high ground with that stinger. So it's looking actually like we're going to have a pretty good result here for FaZe. They lose 2 players on the entry, but they have the entry. Spike's down on the site. They don't seem to care. They are pushing for the frags here. And I don't know if that's going to work out. Baby Bay has... Oh, this is so dangerous. He gets traded. It's just Corey left here. Sheriff in hand. It's a nice shot, but the trade through from a proto. And just as you said, Sean, it was pretty mad.
All right, switch the category of the stream. Let's go to speed running. Let's go. I'm down. We're speed running through these rounds right now at FaZe. This is actually so exciting. I love how Baby Bay entered the site because it's an eco round, so no one can have, you know, they can't have phantoms, they can't have vandals, they can't have an operator. So he's just floating miles up in the air. No one's headshotting him up there. No one's killing him with one shot. And so if anyone shoots him, he just dashes away. Yeah, he probably has that as his like safety net plan. It's just so annoying. Ooh.
Ooh, that 145. Big is very low, swapping out a better gun to a teammate. And that's some good paint shots. I don't think Tig would ever have been able to dodge that. It's a good follow-up. 4 versus 4. I mean, this is just mad, honestly. This does not feel like a normal Valorant game. Another Sheriff. How many Sheriff kills are we going to get in this game? I feel like there's going to be some kind of record made here.
Honestly, it can't be enough. I like it. It's pretty exciting.
Ooh, look at Ban go creeping behind the wall here.
Ooh.
Oh, it's worked out nicely. Dazzle in mid as well. LG getting all the kills. Just Corey left. Close range. There's one. Has the Phantom. Paint shells refreshed here. Corey with another swing. Another 1v1 possible here. Paranoid comes through. Corey challenging. Gets a second. Not time to swap out the gun, though. So eventually goes down, but that's a lot of damage. And again, with the economy changes, that does hurt.
That really does hurt, especially when you look at FaZe, what they have on deck right now. They have that Cosmic Divide in Zach, and they have the Showstopper on Corey. And that combination of utility, particularly by the A site, but it could also work at the B site. They could open things up very easily and steal a gun and flip this round on its head. I mean, they almost won that one with Sheriffs.
So now we see the approach. In the first gun round of the second half, we've got more of a focus around mid and B.
This is going to be very different. What we see in mid from defense, we're just going to see probably a wall, you know, like normal humans throw when they play split. Yeah, there it is. Ban. This is FaZe.
Well, the showstopper comes through, though, from Corey. Trying to get the space created here. He's actually created a huge amount of space. Might actually convert. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Shoots the rocket just before the swing comes through from your boy Dre. Follows that one up very nicely, taking down Baby J. And Ban as well. Finding good timing coming up from the stairs. And this has really made things quite awkward for FaZe. Still trying to gain ground onto the site. They've got that Be Heaven control, but the spike's actually down in mid. So someone actually has to go and grab that. And maybe they don't. Maybe Zachary just kills everybody. That's a good way to get back into this one.
Enemy remaining.
It's just gunfights. I don't think the spike really matters in most of these rounds where it is.
And the neural theft just puts an end to this insane lurk. Ruckus has been building this all around. Oh, you hate to see it. Makes this 1v2 so much harder. And I think a Proto can hear this. Yes, you can see his model reacting. Knife out. He knows exactly where Ruckus is right now.
But a Proto is going to be
30 seconds left.
in a 1v1. If Ruckus gets good crosshair placement here, oh, it's good, but a Proto is more expectant of Ruckus's peak and wins that battle. So there you go, Luminosity, 7 against 9 now. I mean, your boy Dre, that timing of just dodging that showstopper and then allowing him to get that double kill, that's changed everything right here.
It's just a raised diff, man. It's something that only I feel like a raised player would know how to peek in that scenario. He hugged the wall so close for so long, and he waited and he waited and he waited until the second it was fired, and he wide swung before Corey could get his weapon back out. It was great play right there from your boy Dre.
Oh, I like that dash into the wall from Corey, just being really aggressive. Baby Bay pulls out the daggers as well, so a hodgepodge buy coming through from FaZe. Got some position. You can see Luminosity respecting this. Ooh, your boy Dre's actually just pulling out the rocket.
Dunked on.
And looks like we've only got one place to go here for FaZe. Through ropes to A.
Great smokes from Zach there. Smokes off the spawn hall, smokes off ramps, and then drops a gravity well in the site. This is going to be an interesting hold. Oh, the flank from Baby Bay pushes through the spawn smoke.
Spike down A.
And Tig just dodging, dancing around. The Poison Orb does a great job here, and it's looking very hard now for FaZe. They'll get eliminated ultimately by the defense of LG, but that did actually get really scary for a moment. If not for Tig's heroics around the Poison Orb, that would have been a lost round. But it was not, and that's going to be 8 rounds now for Luminosity against the 9 of FaZe. So FaZe, you know, starting off really well into the first half, winning the pistol in the second half. They're quickly losing their momentum.
Yeah, I think LG has really settled into this game quite well. The way that your boy Dre popped that ult in a 5-on-5 and aggressed from deep B, it's almost like he's playing FaZe's game now, right? And FaZe, again, going this heavy A play. Cosmic Divide across the A site. Corey's in heaven.
Yeah, Corey in a really poor position. We'll have to see what he's able to do. Dazzle's trying to assess the situation here. That Cosmic Divide obviously muffling the sound behind the wall. Great first engagement from Dazzle, able to actually survive and hold onto screens. So the question now is, okay, FaZe are going to get this spike planted, but what is the post-plant positioning? They're losing all positioning. There goes the Paranoia. The spike is down, but they have to just fight backs against the wall. Zachary forcing the fight around Elbow, and now it's up to Raucus. It's a nice double, but there's just too many players. And that's another round for Luminosity to tie it up 9-9.
Wow. I was terrified for LG when Corey got past the Cosmic Divide Heaven. That was such a cool strat because, like you said, that wall dampens sounds significantly. And it stops people from spamming through the Viper Orb from Heaven. There's so many positives to an Astra ult like that on Split. But Corey didn't recognize that he had great timing. He could have flanked A or B and opened up either site, but he kind of just waited. And your boy Dre was just super aware to find Corey in Heaven right there.
So, FaZe on this Judge Sheriff fire at the moment. Have to see what they're able to accomplish with this. We've got that early presence in mid. Kind of works out here, though, from LG. As far as their defensive setup goes, they have 3 players here ready to respond in mid to slow things down. And if they're able to whittle down the numbers, this could be really advantageous for them. Your boy Dre with a fantastic defense. And there's the cover from Ban as Baby Bay tries to trade. And it's not worked out for FaZe, as you would expect, given the weapons that they were working with. And yeah, Luminosity, they are going to continue in winning ways, it seems. Although...
I'm going to throw up in my mouth if he gets a kill here, Dan. He's left the spike as bait.
Oh no, this is the rattiest play. Oh, with the judge! Oh no!
Oh, poor Dre,
it's like nothing. There's nothing that you can do about that. It's just like we saw it coming. There's nothing. No one can do anything about that.
Dear God, that was disgusting to see. But here we are. LG up 10-9, Dan. I never thought we would be here, especially when FaZe won pistol. And it looks like LG knows exactly how to deal with this aggression coming out of FaZe. Have they slowed them down? Do you think FaZe is going to change their game plan right now? Or do you think they just keep running it down?
I think they just gotta keep being them. Keep running it down.
Yeah,
ABJ's gonna get caught doing that though.
I think they might slow it down a little bit, but that kill in the extremity is going to force them into something super quick.
Yeah, we get Raucus collecting the spike there from sewers, and you see all of this noise being made here around ropes is really to try to draw rotation, really to make Luminosity afraid of a playthrough to A, but I like what Luminosity are doing here. They are just deciding to gamble stack because they have a 5 versus 4 advantage. So giving up some information because they have an advantage on player numbers.
Oh, the attention to detail is so good. Clearing out that ropes, making sure there's no trip there. Baby Bay spamming the walls. You know, making sure no one can be in that rafter corner position. Corey satcheling out. The smoke heaven. Everything looks so good from FaZe right now, despite being in this 5-on-4.
And having the operator here for Ban, if the timing is good, be excellent. This is scary, though.
No one knows about this right now from LG. No one can even hear this. No one hears that smoke.
Oh, that's a flick and a half from Ban, finding that headshot. It's going to be able to hold things down, though, with the support of Tig backside, delaying. Zachary with 10 seconds left to get this spike planted with the assistance of Baby Bay. It's going to be a tough one, but there's just enough time. Baby Bay will lock that one in. We've got a forward fight here being looked for by Zachary through spawn. This is a huge moment here for FaZe. Pulls out the ADS and makes it happen. 3 health left. Baby Bay with that operator. Backside now has to hold it by himself. We'll have to see what he can do here. Not too much utility to work with. Has to connect the shots. There's nowhere to escape after this first shot. Hits it through the corner of the wall, and Zachary holds it in spawn. And my goodness, FaZe, they're not done just yet.
That's absolute insanity. That's highway robbery right there from FaZe. The 2-on-5 entering this B site. LG played it so smart. Zach gets both the B players, pushes him to spawn, ADS's Dazzle's face off.
One enemy remaining.
And I love the positioning from Baby Bay, right? Because he knows what the players spawn. There's no one that's going to peek that shallow angle sight. They have to peek him wide because it's just not a safe fight, right? To get caught in that crossfire. It's just, they made it so easy in the 2-on-2. Wow. What a round from FaZe.
Yeah, really impressive. And that's the kind of round that you need to get you back in this one. And because they haven't really been finding their footing on the second half so far. And we were actually getting a slower start to the beginning of this. But that said, oh my god, there goes the rocket. And Dazzle's actually the one to get the kill. So eliminating Corey also gives information to Luminosity that there's not too much else happening towards that A side of the map, which does indicate at that, you know, that we're seeing an actual kind of slower round here from FaZe. The lockdown play comes through, and that's surely going to give a lot of expectation now to Luminosity. The Cosmic Divide comes through as well. And, oh, the challenge straight away from Tig. It's not going to bode well, though.
Oh, Dan, this is something FaZe has been doing, right? They use the Cosmic Divide, and they Viper ult the other side of the Cosmic Divide. What usually happens in these pro matches is tons of spam comes through. You know, the Vipers often die when they cast that ult. But the Cosmic Divide protects the Viper.
30 seconds left.
You can see that's actually why LG is playing hyper aggressive. They don't want this to happen.
Well, FaZe are definitely good at playing hyper aggressive as well as LG, so we'll see if they can beat that. And it is just a gunfight here. The rest comes through back into a 2v2. Baby J and Raucous, though, are going to come out the victors. Absolute madness on the B sites.
That's such an insane
But
take.
FaZe, they're bringing it back here, Sean.
That's actually an insane take. How do you stop that? The triple ult, the Killjoy ult into the Cosmic Divide, into the Viper ult. It's like everything pushes you back a little bit more. And I mean, at the end of all three of those, you're almost in your spawn.
Last player standing.
Yeah, super smart. And
Player standing.
it's such a key moment as well to have a set piece like that ready to go. Very expensive, but 11 to 10, and we've got a rocket coming out from Corey to try to get the opening, to try to find the corner that gets Tig. That's a huge frag to find early on. A huge fight to win. No more Viper. And Raucous holding down the A-ramp position. The numbers game is really favoring FaZe. We get all of these individual fights coming through. That is a sign of desperation here for Luminosity. And now it's just Dazzle. And if you haven't seen him, he is behind you. Just waiting.
Yeah, alarm bot waiting
Right.
for him right around that corner. He's not going to have a fun time if he goes up that rope. He knows it too. I think everyone in the server around this
Everyone
alarm
knows.
bot knows exactly what's going on right now. I bet Corey goes in there and gets him. Let's go, Corey. Corey's the type of player that's going to go get him. I can't even
I
believe
need to
this.
see it happen.
I can't even believe this. The discipline
Wow.
coming in from FaZe. Have you ever seen anything like it, Dan? This is
Match
this is a
am
new
shocked.
side of FaZe. Yeah, they didn't even hunt that kill on their 12th round. What kind of FaZe is this?
Well, I mean, I'm really impressed too because they definitely were really looking totally shut out for like quite a few rounds. I mean, they won that pistol. Everything was smooth sailing. That was them winning the pistol in the second half and having a 9-4 lead. That's on split. That's so huge. And then everything went totally sour. Luminosity winning back-to-back rounds, winning a lot of these kind of aim battles, stealing the thunder from FaZe a little bit in terms of these aggressive, in terms of the aggressive play style. But off at the back of that, those clutches, that 2v5, everything started to change.
Yeah, that 2v5 really changed how this match felt, right? Because after that anti-eco where FaZe decided it would be really cool to rush through A, through screens, and flank AF, and one of the most insane strats I've ever seen that clearly did not work out very well. They were not successful at all after that. And it took that 2v5. That 2v5 is when things really started to feel like FaZe was back in the driver's seat.
Yeah, it's really cool to see. You know, this is the Because being able to step up like that in those important moments is certainly, I think, some of the experience showing for the FaZe players, as well as the confidence. I feel like we know that they have an unending source of confidence, but you know, the experience to kind of keep your nerve and just like really be dialed in these really critical moments, and not to second guess yourself in any sense. You know, that's really paid off here for FaZe. And it's one of those spots too where Luminosity will really be kicking themselves, because losing a 5 versus 2 like that, and losing some of these rounds in the ways that they have, you know, they've been putting FaZe in difficult positions, but it's FaZe that have been finding those spots to clutch from. And you, as a team that feels like you're always getting advantages and you're not winning, that's like a very hard pill to swallow.
Yeah. I think the way FaZe approached this game to start was phenomenal. Honestly, like normally I'm kind of critical about how aggressive FaZe is, but they kind of took your boy Dre out of this game for the first several rounds, and it took LG a substantial amount of time to understand how to counter what was going on. And we talked about this a little at halftime when we had that break. The reason being is because, yes, you can play against bad teams that play this aggressive, but the amount of really good teams that want to play this aggressive, it's few and far between. Most of those teams want to do things that are very consistent, and they can synergize abilities, and they can fall back on their abilities when their aim is off. FaZe basically says, our aim is always going to be on. We're always going to want to fight you. We're always going to think that our duelists are better than yours. And that's just how things are going to go. So you can't get practice against that. It's very difficult. And that's why a lot of these teams, when they come into matches against FaZe, they just have no idea what to do. It looks laughable when they try to counter FaZe. It's insane.
Yeah, it's such an interesting approach to the game. You know, I think you and I are so used to, and I guess especially also before Iceland, also perhaps, you know, we're used to seeing, you know, slower defaults. You know, we have more developments to some of these rounds that aren't sort of so heavily focused on gunfights. And these rounds kind of have these moments where it's like both teams are going all in on the gunfights, and there's not too much of that sort of reset. Try to, you know, work utility, trying to like force rotations, try to play that mid game and really try to outposition the other team. A lot of those things are kind of happening, but almost just in the more micro elements where it's about just like one part of the map, as opposed to trying to fake out the other team or trying to play across the entire map. It's about like finding good positions in the gunfights and knowing how to get, you know, advantages in those kinds of spots instead. And I mean, it does feel at least like Luminosity is comfortable enough playing that style, but I feel like they're playing against maybe one of the most just insane aggressive teams in the business.
Yeah. And I initially thought, I feel like we're sitting here talking so much about FaZe, but here they are up in this game, and they look very scary right now. I was nervous when Marv exited the team and went towards Envy, that they lost a pivotal piece, right? Their controller, their IGL, they lost a very, very good player to Envy. But they brought in Baby J, kind of an unproven player when you look at the very top of the scene. But those people that have watched Baby J's stream know how good he is on Sentinel agents. Like he has the most creative setups. And I know this as someone that tried to take on Cypher recently. I watched his stream. It's like a masterpiece. Every round this guy sets up his utility. He does it so fast, and it's so creative. It's like it's just second nature to him. And I knew it was just such a good pickup for FaZe.
Well, it's like the tech pause is over here, and we are going to be back into this one. And there's still a chance here for Luminosity to turn this one around. Of course, it ain't over till it's over, obviously. And FaZe going to be working with the Operator and Baby Bay. He has been definitely quite annoying. Again, a slower start here, Sean, from these teams.
Ooh, I kind of like that. So Corey threw that satchel in there. People are probably wondering why EU satchel, you know, like that's a terrible satchel. EU satchel. No, it wasn't an EU satchel. It's actually an NA satchel, because he's baiting that he went towards the ramps location. So that's pretty cool by Corey. Faking that out, leaving 3 players on this A site. But this is a B hit, and Baby Bay is try peeking in.
Well, Dazzle's ready for it at the back of the site, able to use the Omen TP to at least suggest that he might be out of that position, which is probably what you would do most of the time, but there's the re-peek, and Dazzle converts a second frag. And this is what we're talking about. Luminosity meeting aggression with aggression. That is a huge, confident play for Dazzle to make. I really love that. I feel like most Omens are just taking the frag and running with that one.
Yeah, that's the best part about Vipers and Astros being in the meta is the Omens play a little bit more like duelists. And it's so fun to watch.
Last player standing. Spike down mid.
Well, the movement through mid there hasn't worked out too well here for FaZe. Great timing found by Luminosity. Baby J, though, too far away from the spike, perhaps, to really make this one doable, I think, as that position is being reinforced right now. The Luminosity. Oh, there's the snake bite as well, so no access to the spike, really. Ooh, and there we go. It was a noble attempt, but not much you can do there. So that's 11 to 12. We very well might be seeing overtime here in this first map in this best of 3 series.
Yeah, I thought maybe they would find an opening with the dry peek into B. Very Wardell-esque. But Dazzle with a little bit of a swing. You know, I think he caught Baby J, right? He caught Baby J on that wall. Kind of unfortunate timing for FaZe Clan right there, but great timing for Dazzle. Like, that is fantastic play from him.
Yeah, it's looking great to see that confidence. Oh, Viper Spear coming in through mid. Ban from elbow with the operator. There's 2 players backside here. Oh, the dodge coming through with the satchels. Oh, can't dodge that though. Corey will go down, and FaZe are in a very bad position here. They have, I mean, the most forward position they have at this point is going to be, I mean, not even really in A heaven just yet, but the A ramp control, and that's it. That's all they've got to say for themselves in this 3 versus 5.
This is going to be a very, very difficult 3 versus 5. You can see even the Sage has walled the front of the A site. And they're now playing by heaven and screens.
Well, there's one way to do this, and that's to just fight your way out. And that's something that FaZe are surely quite comfortable with doing. 40 seconds, though, to plant that spike. So that is the real issue here. The main enemy for FaZe at the moment is time. They're actually going to run it to B.
30 seconds.
It's not a lot of time left on the clock once they get there to get that spike planted, and
Yeah,
there is, of course, going to be problems on the side of Proto is lying in wait.
No, Tick actually can't hear this. But the double trips and Cam are going to make things incredibly difficult with 13 seconds on the clock. I don't see how this is possible.
10 seconds left.
Proto backside ready to go. There's that first trip. And that spike is now down on the ground. No one there to pick it up in time. It cannot be planted. That's it. We're going to overtime here. 12-12. Luminosity. After that tech pause, I don't know what it was, but they found their way back into this one. And I mean, I feel like Luminosity are favored here, Sean. Do you get that same sense?
I'm kind of feeling that as well. I'm not gonna lie, but the way FaZe was playing in mid on defense side, I don't know. I want to see LG fight for mid control and win. You know, like I want to see that because again, you can see Baby Bay and Corey are there, and they're gonna run into mid in the first 3 seconds of this round and realize no one is there for LG, and then they're gonna go stack an extremity. But I just want to say, like the way that Zach entered that site reminded me of how I play like Minesweeper. He's just jumping around trying to avoid trips. You know, like he has no idea where the trips are. He's just, I'll jump here, I'll jump there. Just please don't let me hit a trip. And he hit a trip.
Well, it's going to be that fast pressure through to the B side there behind that toxic screen. Corey is trying to see if he can find anything here. A loss of pressure towards B, but Luminosity are not forcing the issue.
And is that a Viper one-way in mid that Baby Bay is opping around? I'm sorry, he has a Vandal. But he's just peeking around mid so aggressively. I actually think it was an Astra smoke. It was indeed. But you can see they've been putting the one-way smoke on deep market.
Yeah, totally different pace here from Luminosity. Really trying to catch an aggression from FaZe, because FaZe was so aggressive on the defense. But oh, the gun barrel spotted. That's a freebie there for Baby Bay. And now, you know, Raucous will try to take the peaks, able to get the snake bite out to protect Baby Bay. So Luminosity can't gain any ground in mid, and they've lost 2 players already. Good trades coming through, not really allowing too much here for Luminosity. FaZe going to finish this one off now. A proto with the trade, but it's not going to work out. FaZe pick up the round, and I love it, Sean. FaZe went really defensive after an extremely aggressive half on the defense. Luminosity clearly were expecting aggression, and they didn't get it. They were forced themselves to actually push.
Yeah, that was so weird. It was like both teams were countering the regulation plays, right? I loved how LG, I mean, I drew attention to it in the pre-round. They were spread out across the extremities, but they regrouped in mid to deal with that aggression because they weren't confident in the early round plays. Again, FaZe is definitely fighting mid here with these 2 duelists, and this looks like a B split. It has B split written all over it. Are these guys gonna both use their movement abilities to get over this wall without breaking it?
Nice snipe at the cam. Luminosity feeling that pressure in mid. How much is there? That's at least 2 players spotted. Oh, your boy Dre's so lucky to be alive there. Ban is so stuck. Ban is so stuck. Gets the kill on Corey, though. The peak comes through. The damage is good onto Raucous, but that's going to trigger the push here. Surely through towards from B main into the B side. But actually, slowing it down a little bit, our FaZe, they are not committing in as you might expect. And maybe that will help Baby Bay get a conversion in mid by ropes. But Luminosity, they're trying not to overcommit here. They've realized that FaZe have slowed this down and reset the situation. And it's up to a Proto now. He has to get some conversions out of this as he swings around the pillar. There's a double. That's beautiful. 2v2 here.
Tig on this
Luminosity is
flank.
semi-favored.
No shot. FaZe is ready for this. But Raucous has ult.
Last player standing. 1 enemy remaining. Spike down.
Ooh, dash forward here from Baby Bay, looking to take the fight.
I got the spike. No charges left.
Able to grab the spike here. Has to plant B.
Planted.
Tig wary of the fake. Not overcommitting here. Baby Bay is eventually going to have to consider this upper position. That's exactly what's happening. Will Tig be able to read this spot, though, around Hell? The timing is huge, and the timing is with Baby Bay, and that's FaZe locking in the first map, 14-12. I mean, until right at the end there, I honestly had no idea who was going to win. I was kind of leaning towards Luminosity for another overtime. Not gonna lie.
That was a great flank from Tig. He was super quick on the flank. But Baby Bay, I saw it all game long. He was insta-casting those smokes to act as one-ways, right? So for those of you that don't know this in the chat, you can throw the jet smokes on a wall, and if you can see feet underneath them, the chances are your enemy can't see you at all if you keep a distance off of it. And he just does it so fast. He did it on B main, updrafted, grabbed the spike, and Tig couldn't challenge because of that smoke. Just all of the little things. FaZe does those little things so well.
And it's also like heartbreaking, I think, for both teams. You know, at the beginning, the first half, I'm like, wow, okay, FaZe are really just showing that they're the better team right now. But obviously, it's a game of 2 halves. And when we got into that second half, I mean, I have so much respect for how hard Luminosity were able to fight to bring themselves back into that one. And that was anybody's. And we're going to have to see if Luminosity can have a better go of things as we move into Breeze. And speaking of which, it's time for a quick break. We'll be back shortly with more Valorant action.